Yeah, so people often ask if you need a family member involved in the diagnosis. Certainly, it makes things easier because autism is a pervasive disorder. So, for the diagnosis, we need to know that you had difficulties in the core domains, which is difficulties in social interaction and communication and restricted interests in childhood that have continued into adulthood. Um, so obviously, if you've got a person who knew you between the ages of 3 and 5 and knows what you were like when you first went to school and what your first word was and when you slept through the night and whether you were a picky eater, whether you were toilet trained before the age of 3 is all really helpful. But that's not always possible. Some people present late. They don't realize that they're anxious and they've been prone to depression because they're struggling with social interaction or communicating, and it's exhausting, and they constantly feel kind of scared and bewildered in the world. And there's some people who present late, then they don't always have someone who knew them in childhood. And some people are estranged from their family, or they may have spent time in care, so there isn't that person who can provide that history. Uh, so it is still possible. Uh, More difficult, but definitely possible. So we still go through the process of looking at what you were like as a child, and you will have some memories, and there might well be school reports or, you know, educational psychiatry reports that could be helpful. And we do the direct assessment and we do the psychiatric history. So with the rest of the history, it's often possible to help people understand. So even in the absence of a history from someone who knew you as a young person, um, we can still pursue an assessment and get enough information to try and formulate an explanation of why you might have been finding some things difficult.